across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart would understand that love and only love can join the tribes of man. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see. The first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Stand together, it's our finest hour. We can do anything, anything, if we keep believing in the power of love. Between your heart and mine, love can be. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Love and only love. Love and only love.
Good morning on this beautiful summer day. I am here feeling so excited and for the purpose of blessing our high school graduates. So, we celebrated them in the spring when they had their Youth of Unity graduation in Florida, and now the 6 of them have graduated from high school. And what a big deal in one's life that is. It's a beautiful milestone. So I want to invite our 6 graduates to come and join me on stage. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of them. So stand right there. Just so, I'm so proud. Bear with me in this proud mama moment. We have Chase Allen, and please stand forward so everyone knows who you are. Chase graduated from Millbrook High here in Raleigh, magna cum laude. He received awards in visual arts and Chinese. He is going to the Fashion Institute of Technology in Manhattan, where he will major in illustration. And our question, Reverend Newsom's and my question to them was, what do you think your contribution to our community has been and is? And I think, so Chase, we all worked on this one for you. Because some answered the question and some didn't, and we totally respect that. But of course, we've watched all these kids you see here grow. They got here when they were babies. So this is a very proud moment for us. So Chase, we think that your contribution to the world is making the world a better place through art, creativity, and spirituality. Next, we have Gosha, our dear Gosha. He graduated from Northern High School in Durham, and he will attend Wake Tech Community College in the fall for 2 semesters of French. And this summer, he will continue writing and he will apply for a job in the government. Gosha's contribution to society is inspiring others to be themselves and to know that they are perfect just the way they are. Also, spreading peace and inspiration through poetry and original writings. Next, we have Jay. Our dear Jay graduated from Enloe Magnet High School. And Jay will attend UNC Asheville to major in new media. And Jay got accepted into their 3 top picks for a college, so I'm really proud of that. I know you will be too. Jay's contribution to our community is helping people have a better understanding of the LGBTQ plus community. Jay was also a co-leader here in our YOU chapter for several years. Love you, Jay. Next we have Amanda Klaus. Yes. She also graduated from Enloe Magnet High School, and she will be going to UNC Wilmington, where she will spend 1 year getting some prerequisites done, and then she will transfer to UNC Charlotte to study meteorology. Amanda's contribution to her community is decades of friendship and love with the people she has grown up with here. And I added this, Amanda, because she works for our nursery, so she's a paid staff, and we won't have her when she goes to school, so I'm sad about that. But I'm so proud of Amanda. And I think that she is an example of maturity and responsibility. Thank you for that. Next, we have Dougie Landham. Dougie is new to us here, but he has grown up with our kids at a regional level. And he is from South Carolina, but he moved to Charlotte, so we got him. And along with Gabe, he is the other co-regional representative for Youth of Unity. So this is it. Dougie graduated from Granada Hills Charter School High School, in Los Angeles. And Dougie is in the music industry, really talented musician, and he plans to take on big-time music artists and produce music of all shapes and forms. Dougie's contribution to our community, in his own words, I want to give my community a big change by helping kids that are homeless. He donated $2,000 of his own money to help the homeless, and he works to feed the homeless. We love you, Dougie. Welcome. And next, we have Daniel Lopez Falcon.
I look like a frat boy in my picture.
I love that picture. I took it. Daniel graduated from Clayton High School, where he was inducted into the French and National Technical Honor Societies, and he is a Muay Thai and kickboxing black belt. He will attend the Navy boot camp in 2 weeks, in July 15th, and he will study aviation mechanics with the goal to become a Navy pilot. Thank you. Daniel's contribution to his community is spreading the message of kindness and self-love with people of all ages. He is an example of how to show strength through kindness. He was a co-leader here at our chapter as well. Thank you. So I have asked Reverend Newsom to give our high school graduates a special blessing, and of course, this is never goodbye. We are so proud of you, and please know, all of you, that we are always your family. Unconditional love is the only thing you will always receive from us. So we're always here, and we hope to see you back, okay?
Let's stand. So let's give them a blessing. I'll say some words and you can say amen after every... This is always your home.
Amen.
Please come back whenever you want to.
Amen.
Please stay away as long as you wish. We love you. Amen. We respect you. Amen. And we expect great things from you.
Amen.
And so it is.
Amen. So now,
the Youth of Unity one day will have to have their own van, but they are now 15 passenger vans waiting to take them to a retreat in Asheville, and they're going to be gone for a week, and we're going to send them on a blessing. We always give them a blessing before they leave, and so this is a great timing to get everybody at once. So here we go. We're going to bless them. May the power of the divine be the spark inside your heart and guide you every day, everywhere you go. Enjoy your trip to Asheville. Deepen in your own knowing of yourself. Expand your sense of love and appreciation for each other, and connect as powerfully as possible with the divine. May love, grace, and peace fill every moment of your trip and bring you home safe and sound. And so it is. Amen. Amen.
thank you.
Please stand and join us in singing Love Can Move the World.
Love can move the world as the moon is sea. Love can cause the wars to cease. Love can move this world to peace. It's a tide that begins with you and me. Love can move the world as the warmth of the sun moves the tree. Feel the wind of love increase as we move this world to peace. Come love the world with me.
Good morning. Hey, happy summer. Yeah, I'm Holly Bear, and I just have a couple of announcements for you. The first thing is that it's a gorgeous summertime now. We just celebrated solstice with the longest summer day. And I would say to you that my favorite quote on summer is, "A perfect summer day is when the sun is shining, the breeze is blowing, the birds are singing, and the lawnmower is broken." Our first announcement is about next Sunday. A perfect summer Sunday for me begins with unity. And so next Sunday, Reverend Newsom will be focusing on meditation for that Sunday. We'll have a little longer meditation than normal in that Sunday service. So that's next Sunday, June 30th. Also on June 30th, we'll be collecting the fans. You know that we donate fans regularly every year, and this year the fans will be going to Raleigh Rescue Mission for distribution. You can contact Karen Thorson if you have any questions, but bring your fans next Sunday, June 30th. The last announcement is about July 14th. We have, for the 9 and 11 services, we're having a guest speaker. His name is Stan Davis. You may know him because he's from the Aham in Ashboro. He'll be speaking about finding the kingdom within now. Also on 1:30 that day, July 14th, there'll be an introduction to self-inquiry that he's giving in awareness meditation. So we'll get to see a lot of Stan Davis on July 14th. Thank you.
And everyone around you.
Good morning. Today is Meet Your Prayer Chaplain Sunday. So, most of you know, but as soon as you become a member, you are assigned a prayer chaplain who will call you once a month and will ask you if there's anything in particular that they can pray with you over. And it's always better if you can put a face with a name and a voice. And so today in the fellowship hall, come over to the table and meet your prayer chaplain. We'd love to meet you. We invite all the members of the prayer ministry, past and present, to please stand and join us as we support with prayer all of the prayer intentions in the prayer box. Let us pray. We breathe into the stillness that saturates our being. We inhabit the portal of our open heart space, and we embrace divine presence. We enfold every prayer request and every individual in need of prayer into the fullness of God's power and presence. We know that divine love and grace are unconditional and omnipresent. We claim for every being the everlasting promise of our individualized highest good, with every need met in the perfect time and the perfect way. We entrust every detail to the perfect outworking of God's omnipotence. We give thanks that we are safe and secure in the sanctuary of God's all-encompassing love, and so it is. Amen.
As we move into meditation, let us allow ourselves to sit as comfortably as possible, adjusting as we need to, and then bringing some gentle attention to the breath. And we're going to pay attention to the breath and let the breath be the vehicle for bringing ourselves into alignment with the body, with the mind, and the presence. Just watching the breath, we let this simple but powerful practice of paying attention to our own breathing carry us inward, bring us peace. And should something arise in our minds, let us let it go. And in general, if there's anything that's been bugging us and we've been thinking about it, let us just let that go for the moment and see if we can bring our attention back to the breath. Let the breath be that sweet place you sit. And when the mind gets up and walks away, let it go, but bring your attention back to where you're sitting with your breath. As we sit here together, let us say a prayer for everyone in this room, that they might be at peace, they might be happy, and they might be healthy. Sense of prosperity, sense of love. Send a blessing to everyone in this room. Let's take our collective mind now and send a blessing to the whole world, that they also might feel at peace, sense of love and prosperity, sense of belonging and ease. Now, if there's any special prayer or meditate or desire you have for someone else or yourself, let us say a prayer for that now. Now let us go deeper as we just continue this practice of paying attention to the breath. And as we do so, let ourselves go deeper and deeper. Some say it was the very practice the Buddha used as he sat underneath the Bodhi tree and had his profound awakening. Let us pay attention to our breath.
day our daily bread. You said you would supply all my needs according to your riches. I have but to ask, and I shall receive. To go from here and share this love you gave to me, to show someone who's lost and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me, free like me. Lord, we are your love. Lord, we are your peace. Lord, we are your joy. This day, thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for this day.
Most of you know this, but I'll start with this. About 4 Sundays ago, I came to church and then did a wedding and then had a dinner party for some friends. And then about 2:30 in the morning, I started to have quite a bit of discomfort. And I thought, this must be heartburn, must be dehydration, I was kind of working around the periphery. It turns out, when I went to the cardiologist a week later, he said, you're going nowhere except straight to the hospital. And I'd already been out for a walk the dogs for an hour, driven a half hour to his office. I was conducting business as usual, but he put me in the hospital. I got a couple of stents that opened up an artery, and then 2 weeks later, this last Tuesday, they opened up 2 more. So that's how come I'm still standing upright, I suppose. And one of the things that happened in that whole process was that I was able to still function, and part of the reason I was able to function with such clogging of the major arteries in my heart was the fact that I'm older, and being older, the collateral arteries around had taken up the slack, and so when those big ones shut down, or nearly shut down, I was okay and able to still function and still able to walk for an hour, etc. And it kind of reminds me of what happens in a community, why we're in community, why one of the reasons for being in community in general is that we have the big things in our life. We have very big things in our life, like our job or our family, our spouse, our children, something that we're really committed to. And they can be like the main arteries of your heart. They really give you reason to live and pump and do what you need to do. And sometimes they get clogged and they fail. Sometimes this major relationships of your life fail. Sometimes work fails. Sometimes the money fails. Sometimes your health fails. And one of the things that's really great to have is collateral support. So if you have a community like this, you may not know everybody here, you may not feel that connected to every single person, they might be that big in your whole life, but when you lose one of your main supports, it is fantastic to have the collateral support. And so this community which we have here, and you may not feel that deeply committed to it or involved with it yet, or you may be a long-time member who has been active for some time. But this community is a great support for us. Now, there have been studies about the health effects of community. One of the studies done was that if you're between 46 and 71 years old, and a woman, and attend church twice a week, your chances of dying go down by a third. If you're an occasional attender of church, your health prospects go up by 13%. If you have a strong faith, you're less likely to have mental illness. If you attend church on a weekly basis, you're less likely to go in the hospital. Maybe that's not perfectly correct. And if you're in a prayer group, you were less likely to have a heart attack. Well, there are outliers, I guess, everywhere. So just being in a community, even when they account for the fact that you probably have fewer bad habits, even though we take those out of the study, there are still profound effects of just being in a community. Being in a part of a spiritual community is very helpful for you. It doesn't even matter that you're not in a particular one. That's not important. You don't even have to be in unity for it to work, although everybody knows it works so much better here than anywhere else. This truth is, I'm sure, because we are communal animals. We need a group. That's how we were evolved. That's how we have become human beings, is we did not do it alone, and our whole genetic makeup is geared to be with other people. In hunter-gatherer societies even today, when they want to punish someone, and they really want to punish someone, they kick them out. They make them leave the group. And in some societies, they expect you to die, just simply not be able to survive without it. That's pretty strong. So if you're feeling like you're on the outside and it feels bad to you, you're doing pretty well. If that's all you can say, it doesn't feel good. Being on the outside is really difficult on a human being. It's deeper than we think, I think. We have a sense in this country, we have a myth that we have told ourselves over and over that we're cowboys, that we can do it on our own. And the truth of the matter is we don't do anything on our own to speak of. And nothing great ever happens by yourself. I mean, you might do an event that seems quite profound, but even so, if you look back, all the people that helped you get to that one thing, if let's say climbing El Cap solo free, there's one guy who's done it, but even he did it with friends. Even he had the support of sponsors who paid for his expenses of living, etc. Yeah, he did it by himself, but not exactly. We can't do it by ourselves. And to admit that we want to be part of a group is not a failing, it is a sense of honesty. You know, this era, this time period, there's a lot of conversation, there's a lot of speeches made, there are a lot of protests, etc., about the isms of life. Isms, right? You know, all the isms, racism, sexism, etc. If you really think about it, the core complaint is, I'm on the outside and I want to be in the group. And I want to be treated like I'm in the group. That sense of being in the group is the core of all that complaint. I don't feel like I'm part of it. And it hurts. And it slows me down as a human being, and I'm less successful, and I'm not satisfied with it as it is, and I want the respect and the love that comes by being in the group. This is natural. That's the way we're made. Of course we want to feel that way. To be an outsider looking in is unpleasant. You know, I know one of the things that I'm often proud of people who come here for the first time is that you know, or you almost anticipate, I do every time I go to a new place, that you're going to feel like you're an outsider to some degree. You're on the outside of this. And so one of the things I really want to encourage those of us who have been here before, this is not our first time, is that we go and find those people who are on the margin of this community and they're just checking it out. So we have this practice called connect to, where you connect with somebody, but then you connect them with somebody else. And okay, well then you've done your job. You can go back to seeing your friends. So you set people up to know each other. It's like introducing each other to one another. That is a powerful way of being a good human being, because we all want to be in. We want to be in the group. We want to feel like we belong. And we also want the freedom to leave, of course, if we don't like it. But we want to be invited at the very least. So please connect with other people. You know, I come here and I want to see the people I know and I've talked to before, but let's also make an effort to talk to the people we haven't met and then connect them with somebody else. What a cool thing to do. You could be you could get your good deed, you know, that and an apple, keep the doctor away. So connect. Now, if you want to hear a story of someone who felt like she was on the out, there's a TED Talk by Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams is the first black woman nominated by a major party to run for governor of any state in the United States. And last time she ran for governor of Georgia, she almost won, but she lost. And it has brought her a bit of notoriety that she's done this, and so I think her TED Talk had 10 million hits. But here's what she said in her TED Talk. She said, you know, when I was senior in high school, I was the valedictorian of my high school, and as valedictorian, I was invited to go to the governor's mansion with the other valedictorians. And my parents were in a seminary at Emory training to be Methodist ministers. She said, it's strange. We were poor, and they wanted to make a lifetime commitment of it. And so they didn't have a car, so they took the bus. They take the bus to the governor's mansion. And the gatekeeper sees them get off the bus. All the other people are arriving by car, and he tells them as they walk up the drive, this is a private event, you don't belong here. And she said one thing about her father is he was not quite a pastor yet. So he convinced them to look on the sheet, and sure enough, her name was there, but all she could remember throughout the whole day wasn't meeting the governor or being in the governor's mansion or any of that stuff. It was that she had been excluded and told she did not belong. It's a tough thing. It sticks with you. And our need for community is so profound that even though she has become a very successful person, it's still part of her core mission in life is to reverse that experience of being told you don't belong. Now, she ran for governor. And one of the things about running for governor is that you can't win by yourself. So you can't just belong. You need to invite others to belong with you, which probably really helps. That one of the things she did in the course of her getting ready, understanding the why of why she wanted to run for governor, is one of the things she did was she needed to expand the group that she's working for. So she's not just working for black women valedictorians or black women or people of color, but also people of Asian descent and Hispanic descent and whatever. All people should be invited to the governor's mansion, if they are invited, should be told they belong. All of them should be invited into the body politic. And her need to connect with others also invited her to expand who's her people, right? Now, it's an interesting thing about who's your people. Because if you think they're your people, they have a greater sense of thinking you are their people, right? This idea, it's a reciprocity. You know, if I go, you people, there's a good chance you're not even listening to me, right? But if I say, if we do this, you might be much more likely. And so this whole idea of expanding who your people are is a spiritual practice, in my opinion. It is part of the unfolding of who we are as people, is to, over time, cease to see the differences to the exclusion of the oneness that joins us together. And instead, practice seeing that, oh, you have the same desires that I have. You want what I want. You want, maybe not precisely, maybe you don't want the very thing I want, but you want what I want. I want to be happy. I would love to be accepted. I would love to have a deep sense of connection in this world and belonging. I'd like to have enough stuff that I don't worry about it. I'd like to be free. All these things you want too. At the core of who we are, at the core of our presence, our being, we are the same. Now on the surface we do look quite different. Some of us are taller, some of us are wider, some of us are faster, some of us are smarter, there's all sorts of things that we are that are different, that cause us to look different, and we can focus on those, and we can make a story out of it like it's really important. And sometimes it is, but most times it's not. We're basically people, just people, doing our best. Sometimes we're bad at it, sometimes we're good at it, sometimes we're mean to people, sometimes we're kind to people. But we all want the same thing. And when we get to know people, we tend to recognize that they are a lot like us. Sometimes it's a layering process. First you think they're okay, then you think they're not okay, and then you think they're okay, or maybe they're okay, and then you know they're okay. And so it's a process sometimes of coming to know people. But as we open our hearts and begin to expand who are our people, we have a very different experience in life. When those people are our people, we feel much better about it everywhere we go. We become a citizen of the world, not an outsider, by our own invitation. Because we have extended the purpose of my life is now extended to you. So like Stacey Abrams had to make the purpose of her campaign about bringing all people into it. And in so doing, she extends her self-definition out. And extending her self-definition out, then she begins to draw the support of the whole body politic. It's an interesting thing. So in a community like this, I think there's several ways to really feel like you own the place. And I'll start with the first one, which is to show up. To show up is really important. You can look at us online, and hello everybody online. You can look at us online, and that's good, but there's nothing like shaking somebody's hand, sitting right next to somebody, feeling them energetically, hearing them laugh. There's nothing like that. That's not substituted by a screen. Can't be completely done. Brick and mortar is what churches should be, not digital. This is the place. Come be part of it. Feel it. Breathe it. Vibrate with it. That's when it really hits. Next, pray for somebody. So over the last month, I've had quite a few people pray for me, and I just want to put a broad thank you very much. Couldn't wait. When you pray for people, something magical happens. You're offering the best that you can for them. You're giving them something of the best of you, and you're inviting the best for them. Years ago, I had a really good friend. We were really tight, and then at some point we stopped being friends. I stopped something happened between us. Exactly what the catalyst was, I'm not sure. But anyway, we didn't see each other for 5 years. I was meditating one morning and I said, after 5 years, I think I should just forgive her. I mean, come on. Now, of course, it was kind of doubtful that she was the one that needed forgiveness anyway, probably. But anyway, I just said, well, I'll just forgive her. Now, I hadn't seen this woman in 5 years. We lived in the same town, or nearly, and so it could have happened, but it had never happened in that time period. I leave my house, walk down to town to get a cup of coffee, and my path crosses her as she's getting into her car, and we speak for the first time in 5 years. Change of mind changes the conditions around you, and it affects the people that you hold in mind. So if you say a prayer for people, if you forgive them, if you do any of that stuff, you open the conditions for a different experience. And so the second step, show up, pray for people. Pray for people. It sets the conditions for you to feel good about it. I had a friend who was a very high-powered woman in finance, and she used to say, before I meet with a client, I pray for them. It was part of her success. Before I meet a client, I pray for them. So you pray for people here in this community. You could do everybody at once, or you could do them onesies at a time, or however you want to. Pray for people. That's a good start. And the next thing I think is to actually contribute your time and your talent to the organization, to do something for everybody. Now, one of the groups that I would like to highlight today is the hospitality people. They come here early, they show up early, they set out food, they stay late, they clean up the mess after us, and we walk in there and we have a cup of coffee and a little pastry or something, and it makes it more convivial, and we go around talking to people, and many times we very often fail to say thank you to those people. But they come in and they do that service, and as they do that service, one thing happens to them, as it happens to every volunteer, probably in every institution, but here in this place, that you become an owner. When you own this place, it's a very different experience than if you are going to somebody else's church. I've seen this with people. They come up to me and before they've been volunteering or doing anything here, and they say something like, "Your church, blah, blah, blah." And after they become involved and done some and given of themselves, they say, "My church," or "our church." It's really different. You become an owner as you give into it. It's a beautiful thing. So if you can do those three things, you can build a community around you. And if you can begin to use those techniques here, you can also use them at work or in your neighborhood or any other institution you're working with. So you want to show up, you want to say a prayer for people, you want to give them your best thought, and then you want to do something. Now, if you can do it with a group this size, see if you can do it with a group that's much bigger. Take those people who are bigger than us, a group that's bigger than us. So we can do it as, I don't know where you want to start, but you can add more to it. One of the things that has happened in this country over the last few decades, because we have such a need to belong, and we have progressively less and less places where we do belong, then the political parties have taken this need, and we have chosen to identify red or blue, and that becomes a wholesale in-group, out-group with us. And if you're a good politician or a good fundraiser, at least, I don't know about you, but I get a few pieces of mail a month, right? Telling me how the other guys are horrible, right? Trying to exploit the need to be in a group by saying, I'm in and they're out, and you must fight against them because you're in this group. And we become bifurcated. And it happens at a national level, but it also happens, in the places where the gangs have taken over. The Crips and the Bloods, they do the same thing. They're reds and they're blues, right? They follow the flag. They're not citizens. They're party affiliates or gang affiliates. This is not a healthy thing. we become more healthy, the bigger the umbrella we spread for everyone. The bigger the umbrella of humanity that we can pull in under our umbrella and say, you and I are one, the happier, the healthier we will be as individuals and as a society. This need to belong cannot be gotten rid of. But the need to exclude can. So we invite all people to join us and be part of our tribe. This is us. So if you have already begun to pray for others, or you have already begun to volunteer, please add this into your mix as well, that you invite all of humanity to be inside your team. You become one with them. So I encourage you to get involved here. If you get involved here, it will be your place. And if you're already involved here, then please go touch the people on the periphery and say, we'd like you to become involved here. We recognize this church or any place is not for everybody. So we don't have to nail your feet to the floor, but we could send a hand out and shake yours. So I just want to say one personal thing. So one of the things that happened to me as I was going in for my second round of stents to be put in my heart is my sister was here in town. She was taking me to the airport. And one of the things that a man my age should not be without is without a will, and I am without a will. And I was telling my sister who to give the money to if I didn't come out. Now, I thought the chances of me not coming out were like close to zero, but it was a great chance for me to do something dramatic with my sister. And so I'm telling her this. And one of the places I would leave a chunk of money to, and y'all would be impressed with how much I had on my mind. I was impressed. Let me rephrase that. I was impressed with, because I've spent most of my life not feeling like I had a lot of money, right? But when you get rid of all of it, well, that turns out to be a bit, doesn't it? You know, it's like, and how much I was going to give this place was indicative of how important a sense of community has been to me. So I just would like you to contemplate consciously and let it really touch you. So the last trick, show up, pray for somebody, contribute, is to let it touch you. Let the community touch you. Then slip into gratitude, you know. Let it touch you. Let yourself feel loved and important just the way you are. Like we say to the kids almost every Sunday. Love, special and important, just the way you are. Let the collective collateral arteries of your belonging touch you so that you leave here with more strength than you came. There was a woman talking about in Kenya they have a group of women who have become rangers, you know, protecting animals there. And someone said, are you ever afraid? And the woman said, yes, I am quite a bit. But when I am afraid, I remember my sisters, the fellow rangers. This is it. Let it touch you. Let it make a difference. You know, let it make a difference. Let your spiritual home touch you. In Buddhism, there are 3 places to take refuge. 3 places that you can feel safety and secure in. One is the Buddha, that somebody actually made it. The Buddha made it. The second is the one we're talking about today, the Sangha, which means the community. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Dharma, or the practice, or the truth, depending on which angle you're looking at it. Take refuge in those and let them touch you. Let us pray. We sit together and we invite the sense of oneness. We have many chances and many invitations to feel separate. And on this day, we choose to feel the oneness, that we belong and that everyone we see belongs, that we are not alone and we have never been alone. We are no different than a cell of our body. The cells of our body are different from each other, and yet they pull together to make the organism work. We are stronger for each of them. We need each of them. We love each of them. Long, long ago, the biggest and most complex life was one cell. And it lasted a long time being just one cell. But when we began to gather more than one cell together, life really became interesting. Today we are the most complex thing out there. It is a metaphor for how humanity must become. Let us lead with our hearts and our minds, saying prayers for others, sending love in all directions, seeing in the faces the same needs we have. May we be the Christ of our generation, sending love unconditional to all. And so it is. Amen. So I want to invite the hospitality team up here, because this is our chance to actually thank them. So if they'll just jump up here really quickly. These are our volunteers of the month. So as I said before, one of the things we often do is we fail to thank them because we're so busy talking to everybody else. But this is our chance to really thank them. So let's stand. And I'd like you just to repeat after me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now we just give them the blessing that we give all our... We are not very inventive. Let's just do the one we know, right? We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. Together. With intention. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Y'all are a real gift. So I think Hank and Beth are going to have a party for him in the next week or so, and next Sunday, so y'all be sure and attend that. Nobody cooks quite like Beth does, and Beth will have enough there for, just under 100, I suppose, right, Beth? Anyway, I also want to say we're going to take up an offering, and, if it wasn't obvious from what I said before, as you give into the community, it becomes yours. I hope as you give into this community financially, too, you will feel that. You will feel like this is you. This is your people. You're part of this. And this is an ever-expanding group that says all people are welcome. So let's bless our gifts as we do it together. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And now, by the time these two people stop singing, I would like you all to feel like you own this place.
I can change the world with my own two hands, make it a better place. With my own two hands, make it a kinder place. With my own two hands, with my own two hands. I can make peace on earth with my own two hands. I can clean up the earth with my own two hands. I can reach out to you with my own two hands, with my own two hands, with my own two hands. I'm gonna make a brighter place with my own two hands. I'm gonna make it a safer place with my own two hands. I'm gonna help the human race with my own two hands, with my own two hands, with my own two hands. I can hold you in my own two hands, and I can comfort you with my own two hands. But you've got to use your own two hands, use your own two hands, use your own two hands, with our own two hands, with our own two hands, with my own, with my own two hands.
I think we might have more. Do we? Oh, yeah, here we go. Do we have more? Okay. Yeah, here they come. Yay! All right. So we're really happy y'all are here. Thank you for being here. We think the world of you. And for many of us, you are the center of our world. And all of us would like to say a few words to you. So if you'll stand up and receive this, we'll give you a blessing. We want you to keep with you all your days. So together, we send this out to them. Please receive this. You are loved, special, and important, just the way you are. And so it is for all of us. Now let's join hands and sing the peace song. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a happy week.